Jamal and Kim's Inner Circle Health Tribe, episode 11.
I think vegetarianism, it's in a good place, and I think more people are becoming enlightened and understanding the plight and the cause.
It's time to reverse the imbalances in your life as you take the first step on your own journey towards personal change. Welcome to Jamal and Kim's Inner Circle Health Tribe, educating, empowering, and inspiring individuals to live healthier. Now here are your hosts and your guides to natural living, Jamal and Kim.
Hi, Kim and Jamal here, and welcome to another episode of Jamal and Kim's Inner Circle Health Tribe podcast. Today we are joined by another special guest, Dez Meecham. Are you there?
I am here.
Well, before we get started, I want to say thank you for joining us, and we look forward to sharing some value with our community.
Yeah, definitely. Greetings, brother.
Greetings. Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, man. Good to have you.
So for everyone out there who had not met or does not know of Dez Meecham, I'm just going to read a really short bio about who Dez Meecham is. Dez Meecham is a certified middle school teacher, a devout vegetarian, a U.S. Navy veteran, a parent, a husband, a writer, and a positive thinker. He lives in Lake Hiawatha, New Jersey with his wife and their daughter, Nailah. Dez enjoys teaching and helping others meet their personal and professional goals.
Nice. A lot of good things there. A lot of positivity oozing out of you, my brother.
Yes, and most definitely. I think it's important to be positive. Just a lot of success has come our way for maintaining positivity.
Absolutely. So, one of the things that you say is that you're a devout vegetarian. You know, that's a huge statement right there. Why don't you just share with us with your personal journey with vegetarianism and wellness? What's your story, Dez?
So, actually, everything started for me back in 1995. I met a brother by the name of Steve. He was a family friend. And he introduced me to some of the teachings of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. And at that time, he was reading How to Eat to Live. And he was just sharing little nuggets with me about what it meant to eat a proper diet and certain things that you should be more mindful of in terms of what you eat. So from there, shortly after, I just stopped eating pork. And of course, if you follow their teachings and their philosophy, that's something that they teach. But in the teachings, I found it to be just real simplistic, and it made sense.
Mm-hmm.
So at that particular time, I stopped eating pork. And fast forward to about 2004, I had to change healthcare providers. And I was diagnosed with high cholesterol and high blood pressure.
Wow.
And it was largely due to the foods that I was eating at that time too. The only thing that I had stopped eating was just pork.
Mm-hmm.
And I found it to be interesting because it was the first doctor that I had ever had that was of African descent. And he sat me down and he just said, one of the first things you need to do is become mindful of how you're preparing your food. And I asked him what I could do because I did not want to take any medication at all.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, well, you start with your food preparation, start with monitoring your eating time, and then he introduced me to a term that I was very unfamiliar with. And he said, you need to include more green leafy vegetables into your diet.
Mm.
So then right away I said, well, what is that?
Mm.
I didn't know, and no one in my family was sharing this type of information with me. I was more or less just following the diet of what everyone else around me kind of sort of following. And that kind of started to spark my interest in it. It just led me into really researching what green leafy vegetables were. I thought at the time I was doing pretty well in terms of my vegetable intake because I would eat, collard greens during the time of the year in which they were cooked. I would eat, spinach and green beans, mixed vegetables. I would eat vegetable fried rice from the Chinese joint. So I thought I was I thought I was doing pretty well until this doctor identified that you need to make some changes. So, yeah. And another interesting thing that took place for me was in 2008. I had actually went back to university for a short bit of time. I had left the university and I didn't complete my bachelor's degree. So in 2008, I went back to the university, went back to William Patterson, and that's where I met, I think, three very influential people. And those three individuals were Brother Sadat. You know, Brother Sadat, that's your family.
Mm-hmm.
He was the professor of a community service class I was taking, and I used to see him walking around campus with a gallon of Poland Springs, and the water inside of it was green.
Mm-hmm.
So I became curious right away, and he began sharing information with me about just transitioning and making that change. I also met a brother by the name of Professor Barnes, whom he actually really took me under his wing and would take me to Harlem to the juice bar. We would go there on Saturdays. He introduced me to Trader Joe's. So again, a lot of things that I knew very little about, and they assisted with my transition. And also, Sister Jazira, she introduced me to bulgur wheat and all types of whole grains that I had no idea that even existed. So my transition is really related to me making some mistakes, but also meeting a group of like-minded people that help to educate me on how to truly live a healthy vegetarian lifestyle.
That's a really good story, and you really touched on a lot of great things. One is your doctor actually sitting down and asking you to look deeper at what foods you're eating. That's not typical for the average doctor. They're not sitting down with you and talking about nutrition. That's not normal. So I think that was great. And then, just your lack of understanding when it comes to green leafy vegetables, like right now where we're at being plant-based, whole foods, that's so typical and it's normal. But a lot of people out there don't know what green leafy vegetables are. We take that for granted, or, their scope of vegetables might be, peas or carrots or corn, but, potatoes, but, getting into, kale and bok choy, these things are foreign to a lot of people. So, we can never neglect where people are at on their journey, because so many people are at different points. But, look where you are now. You know so much, and we know so much when it comes to food. So it doesn't matter where you start. It's a journey, and you can get there. And one of the things that, we always say is that, the best healers and people to help people on their paths are the ones that suffered from health issues. Every challenge is an opportunity for growth. And, your challenge was when you had your health challenges, and it was an opportunity. It was actually an opportunity. It was unfortunate, but it was an opportunity for you to grow and to become better and to improve your health and to learn what you learned and bring you to where you are today, which is an author of, of your growth, of you being the product. So, before we get into your book, because now that you're living on this path, you see a lot of people that they were where you once were. So, like, what's your take right now on the state of health in the United States right now?
Well, right now, I want to refer to a quote by Nelson Mandela, and this quote that he left us with was, "There can be no keener revelation of a society's soul than the way in which it treats its children." And when I think about health and nutrition in the United States, I think about the issues that many of our children are experiencing in terms of being obese,
Mm-hmm.
childhood diabetes, hypertension, and more so all these other conditions that we see existing in many of the adults that are raising them. So I feel the state of health in the United States is largely related to how our children are thinking and learning and performing in terms of their lives when we think about health. So I think it's a complete reflection of our society in total. So I think if the parents become a bit more aware, then the welfare of our children will increase also. So I really think that the children are of major significance at this time when I think about healthcare in the United States.
And I appreciate your perspective being a educator. So you work with children, you're around them every day, all the time. So that is a really good perspective because, the children it's the beginning. It's the beginning and it's the end through their development. And we just look at where they are in the state of health with our children. You can already predict just by looking at the state of health and what the children are eating. You can already predict the health of that future society. So I think that's a great perspective. And being a devout vegetarian, what are your thoughts on vegetarianism?
Well, I really think it's gaining some positive momentum with recent news about red meat and cancer. I think vegetarianism is becoming more accessible. It's not something that's hidden anymore. More people are becoming aware of it. You think of some of the efforts that the First Lady Michelle Obama is doing with some of her programs and having a garden in the White House. We're becoming more exposed in a way, and I think it's important for people to know in terms of options. When you go to many fast food restaurants now, they're catering towards the vegetarian and vegan population even more so. And we see this happening. You think Dr. Oz, you think Trader Joe's, Whole Foods, even ShopRite, has a section where you can buy organic products that aren't processed.
Yes.
Wegmans. Anywhere we go now, we're starting to see more people becoming almost saturated with more healthier options and choices. And I think that's largely due to vegetarianism. I think it's largely due to people becoming conscious. And I also can't forget a few movies and documentaries that have also been put out to the public. One that I think of, Super Size Me, another big film. I believe his wife or his girlfriend at the time was a vegan chef. And I'm like, wow, this is interesting. And one of the first documentaries I saw was Meecham Meat. And when you think about, PETA, and they're giving you very graphic images of how animals are being slaughtered and treated and some of the chemicals. It's very interesting. So I think vegetarianism now is going to come up. Veganism is going to come up. You think about PETA, some of the issues they're fighting against. I think vegetarianism it's in a good place, and I think more people are becoming enlightened and understanding the plight and the cause.
Yeah, absolutely. You hit on a couple of things. Definitely more mainstream now. The fact of what processed meats and red meats are contributing to as far as poor health is concerned. I mean, the holistic health community, we've known this and made the connection for a decade now. And mainstream is finally catching up with that. But I think it's a good thing. It's definitely a good thing that it's becoming more commercialized because now, they are trying to accommodate, and really we're living in the best times right now to go plant-based and vegetarian and vegan because of the fact that things are so they're made so much easier for us now. It's not super easy. You still have to work at it, but it's so much easier. 15 years ago, you know, when I started this journey, when I tell you it was nothing. I mean,
you had to pack everything.
It was rough. I mean, we barely had a veggie burger. I mean, barely. Like you couldn't just go get a veggie burger. You know what I mean? Even in the grocery store, you couldn't find a veggie burger like that. You had to go to select places just for a veggie burger. So, you know, completely different climate we're in right now. Yeah. So much easier for people to eat healthier and to go plant-based. So, you know, good point on that. You know, these are good times as far as being able to change your diet. You just have to be open to the journey and willing to push a little bit to get the things that you need to get. Because the problem is when things go commercial, a lot of the companies out there that don't have integrity and that want to deceive you, they want to get on the bandwagon now. So now they're going to flood the health market with junk foods and drug foods that are disguised as health foods and vegetarian foods. So it's a lot of companies that will actually try to trick us out there. So, you know, so we definitely want to be mindful of that and make sure that we're eating, you know, as much whole foods as possible and just understand the companies that we're getting this so-called health food from. So,
agreed.
Yeah, so that's important. Now, let's talk about your book a bit. A new classic vegetarian cookbook for people on the go. What made you write this book? Talk to us.
This book is first and foremost out of necessity. You mentioned, you know, my own personal lifestyle. Being an educator is, you know, my full-time job right now, and I work in a school where I leave my home at about 10 minutes to 7, and some nights I get home at 10 minutes to 7.
Wow.
So you really don't have a lot of time. And we also have a newborn. Well, she's 8 months right now, but time is very limited. So this book is first and foremost for individuals like myself who are busy, who still want to practice a vegetarianism lifestyle. And you want to ensure that you're getting the necessary nutrients and vitamins that you need to be getting that help to complement that busy lifestyle. Mm-hmm. So first and foremost is out of necessity. And then I was also inspired by another brother that I know from my hometown, Patterson, who self-published 2 books, and I happened to buy his book. And I've always said I wanted to do it. And I used to always make this excuse of not having time. So I said, well, great. I can do something that's associated with my lifestyle. It can work in real well. I can use some of the information, knowledge that I had. I mean, it probably won't take me as much time. So those are the reasons why this is the appropriate time for me to write this book.
Absolutely. And on the go, I think that's important because a lot of people, they feel like they don't have time to be healthy. You know, they don't have time to prepare their foods. So the fact that you're saying is on the go, it makes me think that these are quick things. So I want you to just dive a little bit into the book and tell us exactly what we can expect when we read this book.
Okay, so when you open the book right away, it's a quick introduction that's really meant to get people to understand that we definitely do live in a very fast-paced society and world in many cases. So here is, you're about to receive a few recipes that you can make in no more than 20 minutes, including prep and cook time.
Nice.
I try to incorporate some nutritious information about some of the ingredients in each recipe as well. And that's kind of different from most cookbooks that I've actually had the opportunity to read and utilize. and I try to again expose people to, because first, like kale, some people may think kale is there's one type of kale, but if you do some research and you go to a place like Whole Foods, you'll see different varieties and types of kale.
Right.
So the first recipe, it explains a particular type of kale. And of course, you can supplement and substitute at any given time, but I wanted to make sure that people weren't just picking up a cookbook, but they were also getting some knowledge and information about some of the ingredients that are within the cookbook. And I also tried to put in some calorie intake, but most importantly, some protein intake.
Mm-hmm.
Because as vegetarians, throughout my journey, I always received that big question: well, how are you receiving protein?
That's the infamous question.
Mm-hmm.
So I wanted to make that a point that when you look through the recipes, you'll see how much protein you'll intake with each recipe. So that's kind of sort of the inner makings of the book and some of the things that I had in mind and I wanted to incorporate to ensure that the reader or the chef or whomever is utilizing the book can walk away with a little something extra.
Excellent. And who would you say this book is for?
I think this book is for individuals that are curious about becoming vegetarian, individuals that practice this thing I read about recently called Meatless Monday. I'm not sure if you've heard of it,
Mm-hmm.
but it seems as if people are riding that wave right now. So for about 13 Mondays in your year, if that's something that you're interested in, there are a few recipes. I had in mind the college student that may be living, on a budget. Most of the ingredients are fairly inexpensive, and in some cases you can use some of the ingredients and other recipes within the book, so you can save right there. And I think the book is important because it's easy to follow and it's also real easy to access with the age of technology.
Mm-hmm.
Download Kindle Reader to your phone, and the book is accessible even when you're shopping. If you didn't write down your shopping list, well, here's the book. You can just scroll through, and the ingredients are right there for you to include right there. So it's very helpful in that sense too. So it's definitely for those folks that fall within that realm.
Okay, that's great. And for those who want to run out and buy your book right away, because it sounds like it's a lot of value there for people, for vegetarians and non-vegetarians, like you said, for people that are doing the meatless Mondays, or if you just want to make some vegetarian dishes from time to time, because we really think that it's important to have a plant-based diet. So, the majority of your diet should be vegetation. So this would be a good book. Where can they go to get this book?
Right now, the book is being sold on Amazon. Literally just have to either type in my name, Dez Meecham, or type in the title of the book, A New Classic Vegetarian Cookbook for People on the Go, and you can just search it right up, and it'll pop up first page.
Nice. And one of the things that we like to do when we have our guest on is we always like to get some health advice for people. So for a person that's on their journey of self-improvement, what advice would you give a person who is beginning their health journey of health and wellness?
The first thing I would definitely share with anyone is to join a group of people that are doing what it is that you want to do or you would like to do. The support will help you along your journey. Sometimes when we do things alone, we have a tendency to give up too soon. If we don't think things are going the way in which we originally imagined. So the first thing I would suggest is to join a group of like-minded individuals. And of course, my brother, you share the principle, the whole idea of the mastermind with a few brothers like myself and Brother True. And I think that's very important to do, to join a collective of individuals that can help push you along. And the second thing I want to say is to surround yourself with positive energy, positive vibes, anything from, meditation, anything that'll help keep you in a positive state of mind is always important. Because again, once you allow negativity to set in, it makes things even more difficult for you to actually do what it is that you want to do.
Right.
So those are the top two things that I suggest.
Yeah, no, those are great things, because the reason why we actually did this show was to be that positive environment for people on their health journey, because a lot of times you're out there by yourself. So we wanted to provide a platform that people can plug into, listen to as often as they like, and stay in that energy. So now they can just listen to this and they can be in your energy. They can be in our energy. They can be in the energy of other people without necessarily knowing them directly or, being with them every day. This allows them to connect and be in that same vibration and have that same mindset. So I think those are excellent points. And one last thing, if there was only one thing that a person could do, like all they was able to do was one thing that's going to have the biggest impact on their health, what would that be for you? What would you, what type of advice would you give?
I would tell that individual, you need to get started on your better health plan today, right now. I think procrastination, you putting it off, is actually going to do more good than bad. It's almost counterproductive in a sense. Mm-hmm. So you can do something small, like eating an apple. That's something small. You want to do something. You want to do something that is positive each and every day, but the most important thing is to get started today, right now. Think of something that you can do right now that will help you on your journey to wellness. Mm-hmm. Get started today. Don't wait. Don't procrastinate.
Nice. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's golden right there.
Take action.
Yeah, take action right away. And as we bring things to a close, are there any parting words or advice or any last things you want to say to our listeners?
I want to share a quote by a gentleman by the name of John Maxwell. You probably read some of his stuff. He publishes a lot of things about leadership. Mm-hmm. I read a book titled The Success Journey. And in it, he left this quote. He said this quote. This quote goes as follows. There are two paths people can take. They can either play now and pay later, or pay now and play later. Mm-hmm. Regardless of the choice, one thing is certain: life will demand a payment.
Mm-hmm. Powerful.
Yeah. That sums it up. that sums it up, and I think that's the perspective that people need to look at things. Work from the front end. The worst position to be in is when your back is against the wall and you're doing something because you don't have a choice.
Right.
Make the choice, make the decision now to make a shift to change your health for the better.
Yeah. So before we go, Dez mentioned to us that he wanted to share a special gift with our listeners. So Dez is going to be offering 5 free books to some people in our audience, to our listeners. And we wanted to keep it fair. So what we decided to do was the first 5 people that go to iTunes, rate and review the show, and then leave a comment, and then you take a screenshot of that and email it to jkhealthtribe@gmail.com. When you email that screenshot, the first 5 people will receive a free copy of Dez's new cookbook. Okay, so don't sleep on it. Hurry up and get to iTunes, listen to the show, rate, review, leave a comment, and send the screenshot to jkhealthtribe@gmail.com. So we're about to end the show, but for all the information, all the links that we discuss in this podcast episode, all Dez's contact information and information on his great cookbook, just go to jkhealthtribe.com/Dez, D-E-Z, and you'll be directed to the show notes page for this episode. So Dez, I want to say thank you for taking some time to join us. I know you have the little one over there, and I know time is of the essence over there.
Yeah, of course. Of course.
So, so thank you, and we'll talk to you soon.
Yeah, thanks for being on the show, my brother.
Yeah. Thank you, too. Thank you.
Cool, man. Peace.
Peace.
We hope you enjoyed your time with Jamal and Kim's Inner Circle Health Tribe. To keep you on your path towards a happy, healthier lifestyle, we encourage you to visit jkhealthtribe.com for a free copy of the 8 effective ways to lose weight and keep it off, as well as more content to help you find your health balance. Thanks again, and we look forward to educating, empowering, and inspiring you to live healthier.